Okay, good afternoon class 11th and welcome to our today's virtual class. Today we are having the topic that is sports injuries, its classification, causes and prevention from the sports injuries. Before starting this particular topic, I just want to be given a brief note regarding the sports injuries. Basically, sports जो injury है that is another part and simple जो medical injuries that is another part. But if we think that injury जो है it will happen to anyone at anywhere or at any place. So it doesn't mean that if you are not a player, if you are not a sports person, then the injuries not occur to you, or if you are playing the games, then only the injuries are occur to you. That is not possible. Injury may be happens to anyone, happens at any place and happen at any time. So but there is a lot of difference between sports injuries and the general medical injuries. Basically, sports injuries are occurred in specific or almost in all each and every single games and sports. Clear? Sports injuries, if we are classify the sports injuries, so basically there are three types of sports injuries in sports. Number one is soft tissue injuries, that is related to the skin, muscles, ligament and tendons. After that, the bone injuries, that is related to the bones with the fractures, and there is lots of other types of fracture. And the third one is joint injuries, that is related to the dislocation of the joint. So first of all, come to the soft tissue injuries. Soft tissue injuries में abrasion, contusion, and laceration and incision. These all are basically the injuries occurred in skin, the first part of the body, or the first we can say the line of defense of the body after impact. So abrasion, contusion, laceration and incision is basically your skin injuries. Sprain and strain, this is related to the muscles. This is related to the muscles. Mean to say, the first line of defense of the body is skin. After the impact, the first जो impact injury का that should be on the skin. उसमें भी रेंजेस है. abrasion नॉर्मल वन है, contusion थोड़ा सा हाई लेवल है, laceration थोड़ा डीप है, and incision डीप कट है. After that, if the impact is very high, then it affected the muscles, that is related to the sprain and strain. So this is soft tissue injuries. Now come to the bone injuries. Bone injuries means where the connectivity of bone is broken out. Where the connectivity of bone is broken out, that is known as the bone injuries, and that is classified as a fracture. That is classified as a fracture. Now there are lots of types of fractures in the bone injury. For example, stretch fracture, green streak fracture, comminuted fracture, transverse fracture, oblique fracture, and impacted fracture. In the next video, I'll go to explain each and every single injuries. It is just a kind of a introduction. Now come to the joint injuries, where the only injuries happen that is known as dislocation. Dislocation means where the actual position of the joints is disturbed. Where the actual position of the joints is disturbed, that is known as a dislocation. Now, causes of sports injuries, common thing is, it is not so complicated, that why the maximum injuries are occurred in sports. Number one is lack of physical fitness of player. If the level of the fitness of a player according to demand of the activity is not up to the mark, then maybe injuries occur there. Second one is lack of psychological readiness. Psychological readiness means mentally is not the sports person is mentally not prepared to perform that particular skill or the activity that may a cause of injury. No proper warming up. If we are not performing the proper warming up, then there is a problem in muscles. Next one is faulty or the improper equipment. If we are using the faulty or the improper equipment to perform an activity or a physical activity or a skill of a sports or a game, that may also cause of the injury. Next one is faulty skills or the movements. If you are performing faulty skills or the movements, that may also cause an injury in the sports. Poor play field. If the play field is not appropriate up to the mark according to the demand of the activity, that may be also cause of the injury. And the last one is no utilization of the safety guard, where we are participating in the combat games, for example boxing, kickboxing, wrestling. If we are not wearing the proper safety guard, so that may also cause the sports injury. Now, prevention of sports injury. It is not possible that every time we are prevent ourselves from the impact or from the sports injury, but few principles we have to be followed to prevent ourselves specifically in sports injuries. Number one is maintaining stability and prevention of fall. Every time either the body in a static or either is the body in a motion, you have to be maintain the stability of body to prevent from the fall, because maximum injuries occurred in a sports due to the uneven fall in the sports field. Second one is range of motion. What kind of motion you require to perform on a specific activity, that range of motion you should be clarified. Next, prevention of sports injuries, that is reception of impact. Reception of impact means while you are fall on the ground or while you are having an impact with a sports equipment or something else in a sports field, it means the reception of impact. The amount of impact is, what kind of amount of impact is over there. That is also in principle. Lifting weight, while the weightlifters or the other sports persons are lifting the weight, they should have to consider first the muscular strength before lifting the weight. And the last principle to prevent the sports injury, that is known as the circular motion, because most of the many numbers of the sports activities are related to the circular motion, and during circular motion the body may be disbalanced and that also cause of the sports injury. So circular motion is also another principle for preventing ourselves from the sports injuries. Clear?